Good afternoon and welcome to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. It is Wednesday, January 11th, and a very busy show coming up today. Of course, we'll have highlights from last night's battle for Route 7 between Danbury and Ridgefield, a preview of girls hockey tonight, and a very special guest coming up at the top of the show. I'm Frank Granito, and I'm joined by my Wednesday co-host Kevin Coleman. Kevin, a tough one for your Tigers last night, but I think we'll be able to bounce back today.
They'll bounce back. Again, congratulations to the Hatters. I thought that was a great win at home, bouncing back. I know they're struggling with a couple injuries to start the year for boys basketball. For the Tigers, on the other hand, they have some injuries as well. They're losing their top scorer in Brendan McNamara, so they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and see if they can come back. They'll bounce back, but this is a tough loss for the Tigers.
And we talked with Chris Longo a little bit after that game yesterday and said, replacing Brendan McNamara isn't going to happen overnight. It's very unfortunate losing one of your star players, especially when it occurs in a team practice. But this is a very talented Ridgefield team, despite a lack of numbers on the roster. They'll be okay. They'll bounce back. But always stings a little bit extra when you lose that rivalry game. Of
course, the battle for Route 7, like we mentioned last night, it's a rivalry game, and it sticks with you. Both these teams mark this game on their calendar to start the year, no matter what sport it is for Ridgefield and Danbury. It's a rivalry. It goes back a lot. It goes back a long ways. So it's a tough loss for Ridgefield. And for Danbury, this is a confidence booster going into Friday night against a good West Hill team.
Should be a lot of fun. We'll have that game. But while we're on the subject of Tigers, Kevin, let's welcome in our first guest to the show today, and a very special guest from the Clemson Tigers National Championship football team. Nutmeg Sports would like to welcome assistant linebackers coach Mike Briglin. Coach, thank you so much for taking time with us today. Congratulations again. What an incredible accomplishment and tremendous season for your Tigers.
Thank you so much. It's been
Coach, can you hear me? It appears we might have lost Coach Briglin there. We will give that a minute.
There we go.
I got it.
There
we go. Coach, yes, thank you. Again, Coach, congratulations. The last 48 hours for you and the staff. Tell us what that's been like here.
Well, it's been a little surreal. When you're just going and you're sticking to the schedule and we're trying to, make everything, as simple as possible, keep the schedule the same. So it just feels like another game. And we really talk about that all the time. It's just another game. Simplify it. And, so your guys don't, put too much emphasis on it so they can play at their best. So, we're still processing and there's not much time to process, when you're done with the game and you get off the field and you go in the locker room, you got your locker room celebration, then you got to give the media 30 minutes, and next you know it's 2:33 in the morning before you even get back to the hotel. And then you're up till 5:36 with everybody and, got to give love to the fans. Then you turn around and you got to catch a flight at 10:30, 11 in the morning, so you're working on no sleep and you're trying to process what just happened. So it's been that's what it's been like. And we were talking before coming on the show that then you come and then you get off the plane and you're driving through South Carolina down the interstate and there's people backed up on the roads and you're cheering and hollering, and then and then you guys got the picture I sent, the welcoming. It's just like wow. And it's just so exciting, and it's just an amazing feeling.
You talked about that welcoming. We've got the picture up right now. You said how it just didn't do justice. What was that like for the team, showing back up at home and seeing all of the fans out to support them? And what does it say about this Clemson fan base?
The fan base we have, it's always been amazing. But every time that we come home, there's fans there. But you just times it by 5, and I just can't even. It was like having the Tiger Walk all over again on game day. That's and probably even larger than that. That picture, it doesn't show the people that were stacked up on the hills. And normally there's no during a Tiger Walk before a home game, even against like Notre Dame, there's not fans on the hill. So that's how welcoming. And when we turned when we came up over the top of the crest of the hill at the valley, it took the breath out of me. It just is the most amazing feeling in the world. It gets you choked up just thinking about it.
Now, Coach, you're at the pinnacle right now of your coaching career, winning a national championship. Let's step back and go back to where you started. It all started. We know that you started in New York. Why don't you talk about how you got to Clemson and how this entire staff came together?
Well, it's interesting how everybody comes together, and I started after I left New York. I was working for the Department of Defense, and I was looking for just some way to do something different that I'm doing. So I volunteered working for the youth development program before Play 60 took place in Pearl Harbor. And that took off, and then I worked for a powerhouse high school called Moanalua High School out in Hawaii. And that's when my first year and only year coaching high school football, I won. I was part of the crew that won the OIA championship. The very next year, I got hired at University of the Incarnate Word as the running backs coach, and that just, 1 year coaching high school football, and then you work, Division I football in Texas. And that's when I kind of been a guy that's always worked relationships, and I think it's important. People call it networking. I don't like calling it networking because a relationship means more than networking, and that's what I pride myself in. When I meet someone and I start loving on them, I do it with real passion, and ultimately that's what led me to Clemson is, I'm not ashamed to say I need help, I don't understand this. And you start meeting the Venables and the Dabo Sweeneys and the Dan Brooks and Marion Hobbies and Mike Reeds, and that's not all. I've met Pete Carroll and so many people. Tim Kish, the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma when he was at Arizona, and the list goes on and on. I've developed relationships with these guys, and so when I was looking to develop, and I continue to look to develop, I just don't quit. And that's what ultimately got me to Clemson. I was asked Coach Venables and Coach Sweeney, hey, can I come in and get some professional development? I got here in 2013 or 14 and hung out with the guys, and we just hit it off, my personality, and we just kept talking, and you just keep hanging out with them. And then when things weren't going so great for me at UIW and I was aspiring to be even better because that's what I do, it took off even further. And Coach Sweeney kept telling me, hey, God's got a plan for you, and your time is coming. And I kept saying to myself, and that was 2013 and 14. I was like, what does he mean by that? Like, all right, you know about this, and I kept my faith in what he said, and I literally kept praying on it. And when finally things came to an end for me at UIW, he said, hey, if you want to come here and be with us, there's not a problem during spring ball. This is in 2015. I said, yeah, I'll come. And once that was done, he said, if you can get in school here, we'll take you. And I was still, in the UIW contract, so I did. And 2015, it just took off, and I was here, and I was interning here and going to school here, and that's how he was able to make me an defensive intern. Well, I did that for the year, and then when the graduate assistant position came open, because people move around, he selected me. I didn't even ask for the job, so that was so much rewarding when you have the coach of the year basically say, you know what, you worked your tail off, drove across the United States, and I did, on a Harley, and belief that he would hire me because we created that great of a relationship. And I know this is a long explanation, so I apologize, but it's so incredible that I believe that I was like, he's going to hire me. And I literally drove my Harley from San Antonio to Clemson, South Carolina, not knowing if he was going to hire me or not. But I believed in God, just like he said. And when I got here, he said, get in school. I got in school, and within 2 weeks, I was here. And then, boom, he hired me this past season. And we were in the national championship last year and coaching there. And then this year, we do it again. We go back, and now we win the whole thing. So it's just an honor.
Again, we are talking with assistant linebackers coach Mike Briglin of the national championship winning Clemson Tigers. Coach, You talked about Dabo Sweeney, head coach Dabo Sweeney, and how he took you under his wing really and brought you along in, almost on a whim. What is it about this whole staff from top to bottom that makes it such a special group to be a part of?
Well, the thing that's super interesting to me is in the world, they tell you can't talk about religion. They tell you can't, talk about this or that or another thing. And in the world, in my humble opinion, has lost connection to a baseline fundamental. And I'm not here to tell one person or another what's right or wrong, but I can tell you this. I try to live by the good book. That's my personal choice. And I'd like to say Coach Sweeney has surrounded himself by people that believe just like he believes, and that is to treat people with respect, with super respect, no matter if you're a Catholic or Christian or, whatever your choice of religion may be. It's just, surrounding yourself with people that believe like you believe and care for other people and respect one another, no matter what your skin color is or what your gender is. That's just who we are. And the most important word, and this was Coach Sweeney's word this year, is love. Love, and love harder, and love more when you don't think you can love. That's not defined by any color of skin or any gender or an animal or whatever it is out there in this world. This is who we are, and that's what this staff is made up of. It's made up of a bunch of guys and women who just love people and care for people, and they put that number one, and everything else takes a backseat to that. And that's what he surrounded himself with, people who try to win their day by being amazing to other people first. And that's unusual because in this business, in this college football business that I've been in now for many years, it's gotten to the point where it's just win ball games or you're fired. And here's a guy who's doing it with, we're going to love each other, and it's based on building solid relationships that mean in 15, 20 years you're going to come back to me when you're married that you played for me or you worked for me and say, you know what? Those are the greatest years of my life, and they impacted me to being not a good man, but a great man, a wholesome man. And it's just, he's been doing it for 8 years, and finally it's paid off for him. And I would not want to work for anyone else, I promise. So that's how we all came together.
And Coach, talk about someone who loves being a Clemson Tiger as one of your linebackers, Ben Boulware. Talk about what it's like coaching him.
Well, what's interesting is you said assistant linebacker coach. That's actually Coach Venables. My role is like a support to Coach Venables. There's certain rules and regulations where it doesn't allow me to coach him directly, so I need to make that clear. But I support Venables, so if I see something, I can tell Venables. Those are the NCAA rules, because you're only allowed so many coaches on the field. But every day I work directly, with these guys and these coaches. So I wanted to clarify that, so someone's listening, thinks that that's illegal. So I wanted to clear that up. But to answer your question, to work with Ben every single day and to see him work every day, there's a thing that we do here, and a lot of people probably haven't heard of it, but we call it, as Coach Sweeney says, best is the standard. Ben Boulware is just, it's in his bloodline. I mean, when he's at practice, you're getting a game day rep, every single rep. You're not getting hey, let me just jog to the ball here, even though I'm on the backside. You're getting full speed, sprint to the ball, sprint past the ball, as Coach Sweeney would say, cover to the ball, where he literally makes sure that we're all moving. There's no jogging. We're moving, elbows and feet are flying to the ball. And that's all you see is when the whistle's blown is everybody running, sprinting to the ball. And that's Ben Boulware. And when he don't see other people doing it, he's screaming at them. And these guys clean up after themselves. We don't have to coach them when they're coaching each other on what the standard is. And we say it all the time, best is the standard. Give me your best in practice. And that way when we get in game time, it's not just something that you guys just got to turn on now. It's who we are. And not even there, but in the classroom, Ben is an honor roll student. A lot of people don't know that. He's brilliant. And so having him around and leading these guys is amazing in the senior year. I am so happy for Ben and for him to win the Jack Lambert Award. I mean, you talk about a guy who deserves it. I mean, he's your blue-collar guy. Put your helmet on, and he, your hard hat, construction hat, that's Ben Boulware. He's anything he does, he'll tell you, I'm going to do it to the standard, whether it's in the classroom or we're doing community service. And that's who he is, and that's who the rest of our team is.
Well, he was just one of the many leaders on this year's team. Coach, thank you so much for taking time with us today. Congratulations again. We know you guys are going to get right back to the grindstone now as recruiting season goes full swing now, starting up.
Yes, we actually are already setting up today. We got back last night. Some of the coaches are stepping out tonight and hitting the recruiting trail, and we'll support them here. Like that's one of my duties. Whatever they need me to do to set up to make sure first official visit weekend is this weekend, and next weekend is the same thing. So we don't really have much downtime. We don't have days off, but that's who we are. That's what we do, and we'll just keep going, and we'll get our downtime. And this is something we love to do. I need to say that we all love what we do. So it's not work when you love what you do. And we're looking forward to the class that's coming in and our commits that have committed to us. And this is just going to be a lot of fun. And as Coach Sweeney said after the game, the best is yet to come. Just comes when we won the national championship. It doesn't mean anything. Let's do it again. And that's what we're going to do.
Well, congratulations again, Coach. We want to wish you guys luck moving forward, and we can't wait to see you and the Tigers back on the field next fall.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you guys, and anytime, give me a call.
Absolutely. Thank you. Again, that was Coach Mike Briglin of the national champion Clemson Tigers. Kevin and I are going to step aside, take a quick break here. When we get back, we'll have highlights from last night's Danbury Ridgefield high school hoops game coming up next on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Located in Fairfield, Connecticut, we're easy to get to. Just 2.5 miles off the Merritt Parkway, exit 44 via Route 58 South. Save thousands right now during the Start Something New sales event, now through January 31st.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's all about meeting goals this year, and Trinity CrossFit of Ridgefield has experienced trainers, top-of-the-line equipment, and a newly renovated space to help get you there. Offering more classes per day than any other CrossFit gyms in the area, we cater to all fitness levels. Our coaches have a combined 10 years of experience in CrossFit, and as competitors themselves, Trinity coaches can get you ready for competition in 2017. Stop by our grand opening bash on Saturday, January 14th at 9 a.m. Visit our convenient location on Route 7, Danbury Road, or find out more at trinitycrossfit.com.
Give your day a jumpstart with the latest news, sports, weather, and more on Coffee Break, live on the HAN Network, weekdays at 11 a.m. Connecticut news doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break. If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN Network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier Network, and We've also reached 1.7 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Thank you again to Coach Mike Briglin of the Clemson Tigers for taking time today. Very cool interview, Kevin.
That was very cool, and going back to that game again, just what an ending! A really cool ending and a great way to finish off the college football season.
It was a blast and a great treat to get to talk to a member of that staff. Going back now to last night, we can talk about the battle for Route 7. And again, Danbury, the winner, 63-49, fueled by Chris Torres and Denali Burton, who both finished with 14 points on the night. I thought the depth of Danbury was on display. They had at least 8 different players who scored, 4 of them who were in double figures, getting Titus James back, having a healthy Marcus Fox again in the lineup, versus a Ridgefield team that couldn't afford any injuries and suffered one this week. The roles felt reversed by the time we got to tip-off, Kevin.
I absolutely agree. Actually, the roles did reverse on just the Danbury Hatters team itself. You talk about Marcus Fox and Titus James coming to this game. They were great, but they didn't make the huge factor like Chris Torres did. I really was impressed with his performance last night, coming off the bench as a 6th man and tying as a lead scorer with Denali Burton. The two of them were excellent last night. The Tigers just had no answer for them. I thought Torres was great with the hustle, getting a couple steals, also great around the perimeter, hitting a couple of 3-pointers. And then Burton was great just penetrating to the paint, getting some nice layups. I really was impressed with what I saw with the Hatters last night.
The final score was 14 points, but it never really, until the fourth quarter, it never felt that far apart. Danbury led by 8 after the first quarter, 7 at halftime. But you saw Ridgefield chip away at that lead several times, cutting it down to as little as 2. I thought the Tigers had opportunities. They struggled from the free throw line down the stretch. Open threes really haunted them, and they couldn't convert quite as often, but did very well on the offensive glass in that first half. The press at times caused fits for the Ridgefield, but it didn't feel like a 14-point game.
It didn't. It was much closer. And you talk about that man-to-man full-court press. I thought the Hatters did a great job of solidifying the Tigers, especially on the offensive end. And they really shut down Zach Essenplayer, who really is the captain and the quarterback of this Tigers team. Bring the ball up, calling plays. I thought Chris Longo had a couple good looks from 3. They just rattled out. The Tigers had good looks. They just couldn't finish last night. That was the main key last night. And of course, you talk about the free throws. That really did kill them, Frank. Struggling from the line, that's going to hurt you, and it really backfired on them.
Essenplayer being held off the score sheet in the third quarter definitely hurt. Longo finished with 10 points. That was more than any other Tiger. But again, the only Ridgefield player in double figures. Let's take a look now at the highlights from last night's game in Danbury's 63-49 victory. Throw away the stats, numbers, whatever you want leading up to this game. It's a rivalry night here on the HAN Network as we get set for high school hoops between the Ridgefield Tigers and the Danbury Hatters.
So far in the season, we've seen some teams be a little taller than the opponent.
Snow outside. He knocks down the open 3. It is 9-7 now. Snow with 5.
Torres right now. He is totally invested in this game right now. I love it.
Great play by Scalzo inside as they dump it back, and Fox able to finish with that offhand. On the spin move in the paint. Newborn inside, and another and one opportunity as the Tigers start the second quarter off with an 8-0 run, who are having success, at least on the defensive end.
Definitely, Frank. And you could tell with Chris Longo, like Kevin said, obviously the leader of this team and definitely the engine that makes this offense run.
And he knocked down the 3 right there, a huge shot from the captain. And that shot was freshly into the game, Jordan Brown, as the Tigers struggle from behind the arc. Spinning inside, and the foul!
What a move to the basket there by Aline.
Here, James wants it down low, but a 3-pointer on the way, and it's good from Torres.
How about Torres? He's been the one I've been so impressed with tonight. Out of every ball player here tonight. Non-starter coming off the bench. And here he is here.
And again, it's Torres. And quickly needing to take a timeout are the Tigers. The lead back to double digits.
And this could help them down the road.
A big win for the Danbury Hatters. They win the Battle of Route 7, 63-49. Let's step aside. And you get a great look there, Kevin. A couple of times Ridgefield had it back to a one-possession game, but an and-one opportunity converted by the Hatters, a score and a quick turnover, and all of a sudden a 2-point, 3-point lead becomes 5, 6, or even 7.
And it was also the turnovers, Frank. You talk about, no one really got in foul trouble, which I thought was interesting. We've seen a couple games where teams struggling with foul trouble. This game went by really fast, too. You talk about, the Ridgefield Tigers coming down, on the offensive end. A couple turnovers led to, the deficit growing larger to 14, like we mentioned. And especially in that fourth quarter, that really hurt them. And, we saw in the highlight a couple steals there. Titus James, a nice little look on the breakaway there to Aline. So that was a good look. But the Hatters, at the end of the day, really did a nice job of shutting down the Tigers. And it's so critical for Titus James to remain healthy and will be a big – didn't see a lot of minutes last night, but they didn't need him that much. Coming back from injury, good to just see him get out there. Looked very confident on that knee, so glad to see he has recovered so well. Ridgefield goes home. They're going to host Fairfield Ludlow next. The Tigers are 3-0 at home, so they have to feel confident with a struggling Falcons team coming to the Tigers' den. For Danbury, they're on the road Friday night. They go against a West Hill team that's going to be very disappointed after a loss last night. We're going to take a look at that loss coming up right after the break when we get back on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
At In Sports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Recently renovated and home to one of Connecticut's largest indoor turf fields, In Sports is a multi-sport recreation center providing state-of-the-art facilities for league play, camps, and youth programs. Sign up now for the In Sports New England Top 80 Lacrosse Showcase taking place on January 14th. Coaches from New England colleges will be scouting and coaching the recruits for the college class of 2019 and 2020. The top 40 players will be featured in All-Star Game to get maximum recruiting exposure. Spots will fill up fast, so go to insports.com for pricing and more information. Like and follow us on Facebook.
Discover a world of wellness in the heart of New Canaan. Halo Studios, New Canaan's first collaborative wellness center, offers you the freedom to choose from the best and latest health, fitness, and wellness options. Inside Halo Studios, you'll find all the wellness experts you need at places like Halo Fitness, Priority Wellness, and Sama Yoga Center. Come by for a free wellness assessment, open 7 days a week at 45 Grove Street. For more information, visit halostudios.com or call 203-594-9909. Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
Why cook it all this holiday? Avoid the stress of holiday planning and let your friends at Walter Stewart's in New Canaan do the heavy lifting. Whether you're looking to fill in with a few crowd-pleasing sides or you want us to prepare your whole feast, from cranberry sauce to pumpkin pie, we're ready to simplify your holiday. Place your order from our holiday menu and spend your holiday the right way, relaxing. Our fresh prepared holiday meals to go are designed with your busy schedule in mind. Visit us at stewartsmarket.com or at 229 Elm Street, New Canaan.
Are you ready for winter? Ski and Sport has everything you need to be fully outfitted for the season. A family-owned and operated business with over 40 years of experience, Ski and Sport's 3 convenient locations in Fairfield County offer top-quality, high-fashion ski and winter wear. In addition to clothing for men, women, and children, we also offer seasonal rentals for the entire family. Stop by our stores on 1 Ethan Allen Highway in Ridgefield, 877 Post Road East in Westport, and at 110 Main Street in New Canaan. Or visit us at skiandsport.net.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
We are back on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Let's look around the rest of the conference from last night in boys hoops. And we mentioned that West Hill and Danbury in an FCX championship rematch Friday night. The Vikings are going to have a tough time getting over a just heartbreaking loss to the Norwalk Bears last night that saw not 1 but 2 buzzer beaters from Armani Sawyer to both force overtime and then knock off the Vikings in overtime. As tough a loss as this was for the Vikings, it was such a huge win for a Norwalk Bears team that season was really on the line, Kevin.
Talk about, this has to, if you're Tommy Keys, you have to be so happy right now that you got that win. And, he's been so gracious to us all season long so far that, we got to give him a little shout out there, Frank. But a great win for Norwalk, especially at home. This is a team that really struggled. Talk about that last game at St. Joseph's. They had it. They just struggled in that third quarter. And this is a really great win for them. And Armani Sawyer, talk about coming up in the clutch. Great performance by him.
And we actually are very lucky now to have some footage of both buzzer beater shots, courtesy, just the overtime buzzer beater shot, courtesy of Keegan Augustino, a student at Norwalk High. Let's take a look at that video now.
Give it to Amari! Give it to Amari!
Huge win for the Bears. And we were talking a little about student sections last night, Kevin. How about the Norwalk student section turning up?
I'm impressed. How about those hockey jerseys that's going on?
Hockey jerseys? I saw a green man in there, a couple of lacrosse helmets.
Yeah. Wow, that's what's so great about the FCIAC. I feel like every school has their own identity with their student section. It's cool, wear hockey jerseys, be different. That's what I have to say, that student session looked like a fun time last night. I wouldn't mind spending time in that student session, storming the court, but congratulations again to the Bears. What a great win for them.
We will see West Hill on Friday night. They're going to host Danbury in an FCIAC championship rematch. Games at 7, pregame at 6:45. Kevin, if the Vikings are going to have any chance against the Hatters, they'll need to do better than 42% from the free throw line.
They do, and they need to do better from the perimeter as well. We saw them 2 weeks ago, and they struggled a little bit in the first half. We know that they can shoot from three. This is a good three-point shooting team. So if they can come out and nail some three-pointers early and really get the momentum on their side, then the Vikings really do have a chance. But, boy, I was impressed with the Hatters last night. They have a lot of speed. They like to move in transition, move the ball up the court. They don't really slow down on offense, but they do move the ball around nicely. So this is going to be an interesting matchup between these two teams.
Looking at the rest of the scores there, New Canaan beat Central 47-41. Ward remains undefeated, a 59-49 win over St. Joe's. Ludlow fell to Greenwich, 53-63. Trumbull, 58-55 win over McMahon. Kevin, this is McMahon's second loss in a row after starting the season 4-0. They need to be very, very careful with their next opponent when they play against Darien. That's a game to keep an eye on because McMahon could quickly be at 4-3 after that one.
Well, you've been talking about the Blue Wave a little bit. You've been talking about how good they've been playing. They really have, and this is a team that really could make some surprises. I say, them and Staples could really, cause some trouble down later on in the season. So look out for the Blue Wave. But if you're McMahon, got to step back up a little bit. This is an impressive start for them. I really like the way they were playing, but a little, 2-game skid now. They'll bounce back. This is a good McMahon team.
Speaking of that Blue Wave team, a 66-59 winner over Trinity Catholic. Trinity's second loss. So Darien has beaten Trumbull and Trinity in their last 2 games, and again has got McMahon coming up next. Blue Wave spoiling a lot of parties this season. Wilton, another big win, despite some original reports that they might have lost in overtime. They knocked off Staples 77-41. Third consecutive game in a row, the Warriors have won by 30 points. 4 scores in double figures, 13 three-pointers. Next Thursday, the Ward-Wilton matchup cannot come fast enough, Kev.
It can't. I'm excited for this Friday night game, Danbury-West Hill, just because it's the rematch of the FCIAC final last year. But, boy, next Thursday is going to be a wild game. You talk about these two teams. Wilton, I'm dying to see them play live because just from what I keep hearing, what I keep reading from articles, that this is a team that really can shoot, and that people have mentioned them as relatable to the Golden State Warriors. So I'm excited to see them play, and of course, Fairfield Ward off to a great start as well. This is going to be a really fun matchup between these two teams.
Let's quickly look ahead. Tonight on the HAN Network at 8 o'clock, we've got girls hockey. Greenwich coming in 4-0 in FCIAC play at New Canaan, 2-0. A lot of buzz around this Greenwich Cardinals girls team right now. First true test of the season. This is not the New Canaan team you've come to know the past decade or so, fueled by the Homps, the Durkins, all these great name big players. This is not to knock on the girls from New Canaan. They are a very talented team. There isn't that one superstar you've really come to know. So this is a good test for the Rams too, and where they're going to match up. Two key players to watch in this game: Jessica Ware, the freshman goalie for Greenwich in her first big test, and Jessica Eccleston for New Canaan on defense. I think she's going to play a huge role in slowing down that Greenwich cycle and protecting the New Canaan net as well.
Well, we saw Greenwich 3 weeks ago, over in Stamford, and I was really impressed with the way they played. I mean, this is a fast team. They know how to score. They can move up and down the ice both ways. And this is a New Canaan team that you just said it, Frank. Off to a good start. Talk about a confidence booster if they win. This is a big game for New Canaan, just as big as it is for Greenwich. You think about the classes from New Canaan and Darien last year who had been to 4 FCX championships, so many state championships amongst those girls, but a much more balanced conference this year. I think Greenwich, New Canaan, and Darien have really separated themselves. This is a Cardinals team who wasn't in the FCX tournament last year. A lot to prove, and it should be a lot of fun. Again, 8 o'clock is puck drop. We'll be on the air at 7:50. Kevin, great show. Thank you again to Coach Mike Briglin. Won't see you tonight, but you're back on Friday. It was going to be a lot of fun for that FCX rematch. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun matchup between two teams that are now almost considered rivals in a way, so it's going to be fun. For Kevin Coleman, I'm Frank Granito. We've got hockey tonight at 8, Kate Chaplinsky and your coffee break at 11, John Kovacs, the Yankee Fisherman at 1, and as always, Nutmeg Sports at 2. We'll see you later.